Last class we discussed about multivibrator and the application of operational amplifier. So we discussed about two types of applications. First one is a stable multivibrator. That means we analyzed the application of operational amplifier in the form of a multivibrator. Okay, multivibrator in the sense. So here main difference with application of multivibrators and previous type of applications like zero crossing detector or schematic trigger is in the particular circuit configuration we don't use any external input supply. Okay, the input supply, this even though the circuit is having positive feedback and the circuit is quite similar to the particular schematic trigger, but here we are having positive feedback and the circuit is quite similar to the schematic trigger. But what actually happens means in this particular application we are using a particular negative feedback RC circuit here, and this RC circuit will take the absorb the output from the operational amplifier, and next it will fetch as an input to the inverting type terminal of the operational amplifier. That means the entire circuit of a stable multivibrator will operate with respect to depends upon operating with respect to the capacitor operation. That means capacitor will charge and discharge. Depending upon the capacitor charging and discharging, the stable multivibrator will operate. And we analyzed the behavior of a stable multivibrator through this particular waveform. Okay, that means previously through the resistor of RC circuit, the capacitor is charged. The capacitor is charged, and even if from 0 volts, initial 0 volts to it is charged. And here we have two type of references. One is positive reference value and negative reference value. Positive reference value and negative reference value are observed or calculated with respect to the feedback resistances. Okay, positive reference value is upper threshold value and negative reference value is nothing but lower threshold value. This upper threshold value and lower threshold value are observed or calculated with the help of the feedback resistances R1 and R2. R1 and R2. Okay, so whenever the capaciting charging voltage just exceeds with respect to a upper threshold value, if it increases slight more than the upper threshold value, so previous output builded at V naught is plus V saturation. Thus V saturation will drop with respect to minus V saturation. Okay, whenever the output voltage dropped from positive saturation voltage to negative saturation voltage, the capacitor starts discharging from upper threshold voltage towards lower threshold voltage. Okay, if it discharges slight more than lower threshold value, okay, so discharges slight more than lower threshold value at this particular operating region, the minus V saturation will increase towards positive saturation. That means the output voltage is swinged from negative saturation to positive saturation whenever the discharging voltage of capacitor slightly increased with respect to lower threshold value. Okay, and again after this condition of swinging from negative saturation to positive saturation, the capacitor will the capacitor will charge again from lower threshold value to upper threshold value. Okay, if again during this particular charging of capacitor, okay, if the during this particular charging of capacitor, if this particular charging of capacitor increases a millivolt with respect to upper threshold value, again the positive V saturation drops with respect to negative V saturation. That means what we are analyzing from this waveform of a stable multivibrator means the behavior of output voltage. The behavior of output voltage is swinging in the sense oscillating from positive saturation to negative saturation, from negative saturation to positive saturation. So this swinging or oscillating of output voltage depending upon the capacitor charging and discharging through this particular feedback resistance. Okay, that is what we analyzed with respect to our circuit configuration, and we theoretically described all the points here. And next we calculated the behavior of time period. At what time period? So here calculation of time period in a stable multivibrator, what we calculated the time period means we calculated the behavior of time period during the capacitor charging from lower threshold value to upper threshold value, and capacitor discharging from upper threshold value to lower threshold value. Okay, for two time periods we calculated. So we have taken the transient response of the particular RC pole pair and we substituted the maximum voltage. One maximum voltage is positive saturation, other maximum voltage is negative saturation. Okay, initial voltage is upper threshold voltage is nothing but charge voltage across capacitor, and I substituted all the expressions in the transient response function. and next we calculated the time period. That means here we calculated the time period when the capacitor charging from lower threshold value to upper threshold value, and again capacitor discharging from upper threshold value to lower threshold value. Here HT in the sense higher threshold value or upper threshold value. That means two instances of capacitor charging from lower to higher and capacitor discharging from lower to higher is calculated with respect to time period capital T is equal to 2T1. Okay, so that is analysis we observed at stable multivibrator. And second one is second analysis of multivibrator is second classification, that is monostable multivibrator as an application of operational amplifier. Second classification. So this monostable multivibrator, in the sense mono in the sense single stage multivibrator. That means this monostage multivibrator is stable at one operating region, and again at the second operating region it is not unstable, it is quasi stable. Don't reach to unstable condition, it is quasi stable. Quasi stable in the sense the circuit operating in a particular specific region before reaching into a stable region. Okay, that means monostable vibrator will have two operating regions. One is stable operating region and another one is quasi stable operating region. So in yesterday's our quiz analysis also, most of the people has this misconception. Quasi stable operation region in the sense it is not unstable. Okay, it is not unstable. Quasi stable in the sense temporary stable. Quasi stable term in the sense it is temporary stable. Most of the people is having this misconception that monostable multivibrator will operate at two stages. One is at stable condition, another one is at unstable condition. That is not correct. Okay, monostable multivibrator will operate at two operating regions. It is correct. It is operating at stable condition and quasi stable condition, whereas quasi stable condition is known as temporary stable condition. Okay, that means the circuit is operated in a temporary stable mode before it's reaching into stable mode. Okay, before it's reaching into stable operating mode. Okay, so what is the main analysis point of view with monostable multivibrator? Means same here also we involve an inverting type comparator, but the point is it is also a square wave generator. But the point is here, but what is the point means here we use an external trigger mechanism, to operate the entire monostable multivibrator in single stable mode and multi in quasi stable mode. Okay, that means here see the external trigger mechanism contains one particular a pair of Zener diodes with respect to a rectifier diode and a clamping diode connected with respect to the capacitor. That means the capacitor is connected here. Okay, so the capacitor, what is this capacitor? Means this capacitor is nothing but our RC pole pair, which is connected with respect to a negative feedback connection. Okay, the circuit is connected with respect to positive feedback. So entire circuit is quite similar to our Schmitt trigger, inverting type Schmitt trigger. But what is the problem is we don't use any external input supply. The input supply of this particular operational amplifier is observed from the output of the operational amplifier with the help of this RC pole pair, and next that is fed as an input to this particular comparator in this particular operational amplifier. Okay, so this capacitor charging and discharging is controlled with respect to this diode. That means whenever the diode is in forward biased condition, this is a germanium type diode and the operating voltage is around 0.1 volts. So that means the capacitor is controlled with respect to this diode. That's why it is called as clamped diode. That means this capacitor is operated at a particular region of from up to 0.7 volts. If we operate beyond 0.1 volts, this diode will get reverse biased and it would get short circuited. Okay, and next these two are particular Zener diodes, and this is our rectifier diode, and this is called as terminal diode. Okay, with the help of this particular triggering mechanism, see here in the output waveform, we are handling a negative short. This negative short is triggered with this external triggering mechanism. That's why, that means we are operating this multivibrator, monostable multivibrator, okay, with the application of external triggering mechanism. And this external triggering mechanism is setting a negative short or negative peak pulse. That's why this entire monostable multivibrator is called as one shot vibrator or one shot multivibrator, right? So this negative short is applied to the at this particular VT terminal, So previous application of this particular negative shot, see, at this particular initial condition of application of negative shot, okay, the capacitor is charging at VC volts, and the VD1 is nothing but voltage across the diode, that is 0.7 volts. At the particular 0.7 volts, the capacitor is charging with respect to the output voltage absorbed with to the feedback resistor, and the capacitor is charging, okay, with respect to the diode, and the output is experienced is nothing but negative saturation condition. Okay, after the application of the negative shot here, after the application of negative shot, okay, the capacitor is charged, starts discharging with respect to the lower and start reaching the lower threshold value, and there is a drift or a change or oscillation with respect to output voltage drifted from positive saturation to negative saturation immediately after this application of negative shot, and the capacitor discharging, and whenever the capacitor is came in contact with respect to this particular lower threshold voltage, what will happen is, after the capacitor came in contact with this lower threshold voltage, okay, so what will happen at that condition, again the negative V saturation will shift from total time period, output is shifted from negative saturation to positive saturation, and again after the capacitor voltage came in contact with respect to negative threshold voltage, okay, the capacitor will starts increasing its charge towards positive V saturation, and again the output voltage is again came into operation of V saturation. So here, after the application of negative shot, and capacitor starts discharging up to its came in contact with lower threshold value, this entire, at that condition there is a drift or there is a change in output voltage time period, and entire output voltage of time period is operated at a minus Vsat condition, which is expressed here as capital T. Okay, so this is called as quasi state or temporary stable state. This is called as quasi state or temporary stable state. That means here the multivibrator is operated in stable condition, it is operated in quasi stable condition, and again after the application of negative shot, it is again reached to stable condition. That means this multivibrator is operated in two regions, then one is stable region and another one is quasi stable region or temporary stable region. So this is what our analysis, and next we calculated the time period for this quasi stable region. That means what is the why we calculated this particular time period means, what is the behavior of the multivibrator, monostable multivibrator, if it is operated in this particular quasi stable region, So if we see the behavior of output voltage capital T, the output time period capital T, so input voltage V input is represented as initial voltage and final voltage is Vf. Okay, so transient response of output voltage V output is equal to Vf plus of V input minus Vf into exponential of minus T divided by Rc. That minus T is nothing but time required with respect to the charging and discharging of charging and discharging of capacitor with respect to RC circuit. Okay, input voltage is nothing but voltage across the diode VD1, and the feedback voltage is final voltage is equal to minus V saturation, and Vc is nothing but a voltage is the output voltage across the capacitor is represented as Vc. If we substitute the parameters and if we calculate further, so this is the expression, Vc is equal to minus V saturation is nothing but final voltage plus of initial voltage is the voltage across the diode VD1 minus of final voltage is minus V saturation, total exponential of T by Rc. Okay, so if we substitute, if we simplify further after applying the logarithmic and further simplification, so this is the total time period capital T is equal to Rc into ln of VD1 plus V saturation by V saturation into 1 minus beta. That means this is the time period which we calculated when this monostable multivibrator is operated in quasi-stable region. For the behavior of monostable multivibrator, if it is operated in a quasi-stable region, we calculated the behavior of time period. Okay, so this is what we discussed in our analysis with respect to previous class. That means in previous classes we discussed about the behavior of behavior of or application of multivibrator in the with respect to an operational amplifier. So in this class we will discuss about triangular wave generator using operational amplifiers and logarithmic and anti-logarithmic amplifiers in the application of operational amplifier. That means these are all various applications. Mostly we are discussing about the nonlinear applications of operational amplifiers. Okay, we discussed about zero crossing detector. Okay, zero crossing detector is a peculiar type of application of comparator. Great. So there is some disturbance we got. So these applications of zero crossing detector and application of zero crossing detector and in the application of various applications we discussed about. One is zero crossing detector. In zero crossing detector, we observed the behavior of a comparator. It is application is square wave generator. Zero crossing detector is a square wave generator. That means the input voltage is sinusoidal, and whenever the input voltage came across with respect to a reference zero pulse, the output voltage will be a square pulse. Okay. Next we analyzed Schmitt trigger, inverting Schmitt trigger and non-inverting Schmitt triggers. Next we observed the behavior of multivibrators. Okay, monostable multivibrator and stable multivibrators. So this is about triangular wave generator with respect to operational amplifier. That means previous applications. There are in with respect to previous applications of zero crossing detectors, Schmitt triggers, multivibrators and all. See, in this particular zero crossing detector, what we are doing here in this particular zero crossing detector, the input voltage is sinusoidal. Whenever the input voltage is crossing with respect to the reference voltage of zero, okay, the reference voltage, see in this particular circuit, the reference voltage is zero. Whenever the input voltage came in contact with respect to the reference voltage, zero reference voltage, the output voltage starts oscillating from negative saturation to positive saturation. That means the output voltage, here the zero crossing detector is nothing but a square wave generator. That means the input sinusoidal voltage is converted into a square wave pulse with the help of a zero reference voltage. Okay, next we updated the zero crossing detector because the zero crossing detector is having some noise problems and it is not applicable to low frequency output voltages. That is next analyzed with respect to the second type of application is Schmitt trigger. Schmitt trigger. That means Schmitt trigger, in Schmitt trigger we can clearly see the behavior of output voltage from with the help of two reference pulses. One is a positive reference pulse and negative reference pulse, which is created with the application of positive feedback. With the help of positive feedback, here we created two references pulse. One is positive reference pulse or negative reference pulse or higher reference pulse or lower reference pulse. We call that in our technical term, that is upper threshold voltage and lower threshold voltage. That means whenever the sinusoidal voltage came in across with respect to the upper threshold voltage and lower threshold voltage, there is a behavior of output voltage in a square waveform with respect to positive V saturation to negative V saturation. That means a clear and exact saturation behavior of a square waveform is analyzed with respect to the Schmitt trigger application of inverting Schmitt trigger, as well as here in our inverting Schmitt trigger also, this inverting Schmitt trigger also. So, and coming to the operational amplifier as multivibrators. So here also we used the behavior of, we observed the behavior of output voltage as a square wave pulse generator. That means we haven't used any input supply. Okay, just we observed the output voltage and that output voltage is fed as an input with the help of an RC pole pair, and next we analyzed the behavior of charging and discharging of the capacitor, and next we converted that into a square wave pulse. Okay, that means these are all discussions, zero crossing detector or Schmitt triggers or multivibrators. These are multivibrators of what these all means. These are all square wave generators. These are all peculiar square wave generators. So now we are discussing with a triangular wave generator. Okay, how to construct a triangular wave generator? Up to the discussion we analyzed about square wave generators. At this instant we are discussing about a triangular wave generator. That means in the application of operational amplifier. This is the nonlinear application. These are all nonlinear applications: zero crossing detectors, schematic triggers, okay, and multivibrators. These are all nonlinear applications. So in the aspect of this particular nonlinear applications, that too in the application of comparators, analysis of comparators. So how to build a triangular wave generator means, so we can use a square wave generator. See in this particular circuit configuration of a triangular wave generator, simply we are connecting a square wave generator and an integrator. We are involving an integrator here. We are involving an integrator here. So square wave generator, in the sense, we can use an exact high operating voltage or high frequency application square wave, in the sense we can use an inverting schematic trigger, we can use non-inverting schematic trigger, we can use a multivibrator, it's an stable multivibrator or a monostable multivibrator. So whatever it may be, these are all square wave generators. Zero crossing detector is, someone posted in chat box, right? Zero crossing detector is also a square wave generator. But what actually happens means, so zero crossing detector is not having a very high noise immunity system. Okay, it is having some noise disturbances in the input voltage. That's why we adopted a new square wave, that is schematic trigger. Okay, so in this aspect of square wave generators, we can use schematic triggers or multivibrators or whatever it may be. But in this particular application, I am adopting an stable multivibrator. I am adopting an stable multivibrator. See, a stable multivibrator with a feedback connection of R1 and R1 with respect to R2, and RC circuit is connected with respect to a negative feedback terminal. Okay, and next and the output is nothing but square wave, and that square wave is fed with respect to integrator. Okay, so what is integrator? We analyzed the integrator behavior at the initial application of initial applications. We analyzed the integrator. What is an integrator means? The output of an integrator, V output. See, the output of an integrator is analyzed, V output is proportional to, see, this is your integrator. Okay, this is integrator is connected with respect to an inverting terminal, is connected with respect to an input resistance, and a negative feedback is connected with respect to a capacitor. So this integrator, see, the output of integrator is proportional to an integral function of input. That means if we give a pulse as an input to this particular integrator, then output will be ramp in the sense ramp or triangular. That's why I am connecting here in my application of a triangular wave generator, I am connecting a square wave generator with respect to an integrator. Output square wave generator is simply connected with respect to an integrator. Why means the output voltage of integrator, V output, see, I explained here in the expression, output voltage is proportional to the integral of input. Okay, and this is an inverting type, that's why you have minus. Okay, you have minus here. Output is inverse of input in integrator type application. That's why output is equal to, output voltage is proportional to the integral of input voltage. So simply I'm connecting a square wave generator with respect to next to the integrator. Okay, so what will happen means, if we observe the analysis of this particular circuit, the output of the integrator is a triangular wave, but the input is connected but this particular input of this particular integrator is square wave. That means the triangular wave generator can be formed simply by connecting an integrator to an square wave generator. So that means what we can say means, there is one way to obtain a triangular wave here. If we integrate the square wave, we are integrating the square wave with the help of the integrator to get the triangular wave. Therefore, the triangular wave generator can be formed by using a comparator. This square wave generator is the comparator and an integrator. Okay, the triangular wave generator is a combination of comparator and an integrator. This square wave generator is a nonlinear application of operational amplifier, and that is a comparator. This is a comparator. So this triangular wave generator is formed by using a comparator and an integrator. Okay, so if we see the waveform analysis of this particular triangular wave generator, okay, basically the triangular wave is generated by alternating charging and discharging across this particular capacitor with a constant current. That means this is achieved by connecting an integrated circuit at the output of the square wave generator. That means if we assume the output voltage of the square wave generator V dash is at positive saturation. This region is positive saturation. This region is negative saturation. This region is positive saturation, and this region is negative saturation. Okay, that means if we assume the output voltage V dash is high, this output voltage V dash is high, and here we have positive saturation here. Positive V saturation. So at this time, the constant current, okay, the constant current will flow across this particular resistance, and the output across this resistance, current behavior of this resistance will be plus V saturation with respect to the resistance R3. That means that is flowing through the particular capacitor. That means at that condition, the output voltage or the ramp voltage, the ramp voltage will start shifting at this particular negative manner. Okay, see, the force of the constant current across this particular resistance will help to convert this positive peak of this particular positive peak to this entire positive peak or positive saturation from upper value to lower value. See here, that means this forces the constant current source. Constant current is flowing through the resistance R3, and that will be the current behavior will be V saturation divided by R3. Current behavior across the resistance will be V saturation divided by R3. Okay, so that means the frequency of the triangular wave is shifted from positive to negative. Okay, so the same thing is happened when the output V dash is at negative saturations. Here we have negative saturation condition. Here we have negative saturation condition. At this instant of negative saturation condition, when V dash is low, okay, the output voltage across this resistor is minus V saturation. Okay, the current across this resistance is minus V saturation divided by R3. Okay, the current is flowing through this particular resistance R3. Okay, that drives the output voltage from this particular value to higher value, that means the amplitude of the triangular wave decreases with increase in frequency. So whenever the frequency is increasing, the amplitude of the triangular wave is decreasing. So whenever the frequency is decreasing, whenever the frequency of the V dash, whenever the frequency of the square wave is decreasing, the amplitude of the triangular wave is increasing. So that means this is a vice versa condition. The amplitude of triangular wave decreasing with the increasing of square wave, and amplitude of triangular wave increasing with the decreasing of this particular square wave condition. So this is because the reactance of the capacitor, this particular reactance of the capacitor decreases at higher frequency and increases at lower frequencies. Okay, so that means the triangular wave is obtained by integrating the square wave. Okay, so this is the analysis with respect to triangular wave generation. That means what happens with respect to the triangular wave generation means the triangular wave is constructed with the help of a square wave generator or a comparator. That means this particular triangular wave generator is formed with the help of a comparator, okay, with respect to an integrator. That means what we are doing means a square wave is integrated and a particular ramp wave or triangular wave is converted with the help of this particular capacitor operation. That means this capacitor will convert the output voltage of high operating voltage of plus bias saturation into a lower ramp value, and lower saturation value into a higher ramp value, and vice versa condition. The same thing will happen for further particular characteristics of the particular triangular wave generator waveform. Okay, so this is our analysis with respect to the triangular wave generator. Okay, so this entire discussion is analyzed here. Entire discussion is analyzed here in theoretical manner, what we discussed here. So now coming into our next concept is logarithmic and anti-logarithmic amplifier. Logarithmic and anti-logarithmic amplifier. So this is an application. This is an application where the electrical circuits will do mathematical operation. That means the operational amplifier will do division, multiplication, subtraction, addition, exponential value, logarithmic value, sine value, cosine value of mathematical operations with the help of this logarithmic amplifier. So what does this logarithmic amplifier do means, so other than this particular aspects of mathematical operations, this logarithmic value or this particular logarithmic amplifier, so what are the additional performance means, this logarithmic value or this particular logarithmic amplifier is an aspect of nonlinear applications of operational amplifier. Okay, so here it will use a diode or a BJT. See in the particular circuit, see in this particular circuit, so here we will use a diode in a feedback in this particular feedback component. So here we can use a diode or a particular BJT in the feedback parts from the basics of operational amplifier. So these amplifiers are commonly called as a logarithmic or anti-logarithmic amplifiers. Okay, this amplifier has several area of applications. Here we have various applications of this particular logarithmics. We will do various mathematical functions like logarithm, log of x, sine of x calculations. Such calculations are performed with logarithmic amplifiers, and these we can also use these logarithmic amplifiers in converting of decibel values into sound signals, or display signals in our instrumentation. Okay, these logarithmic instruments can also be used. These logarithmic instruments are also be used in particular applications in performing of mathematical operations like divisions, multiplications, square root calculations, power extractions, and true RMS conversions and all. So most of these particular logarithmic amplifiers mostly used in signal compressions. Signal compression in the sense by reducing the dynamic range of the signal. By reducing the dynamic range of the signal. So that means the mostly in the application of signal compression, we are using this particular logarithmic amplifier in the aspect of instrumentation concept. In the aspect of instrumentation concept. So how to design this particular logarithmic amplifier means, logarithmic amplifier, see the circuit, logarithmic amplifier, the logarithmic amplifier in this particular circuit analysis, we can clearly see here how to design a logarithmic amplifier. So here, so this is nothing but an inverting type operational amplifier. See, the input is connected to the inverting terminal of the operational amplifier. Input is connected to the inverting terminal of the operational amplifier, and the non-inverting terminal is grounded. And here we are connecting a diode. Okay, in the aspect of nonlinear applications, we said nonlinear applications also we will connect the negative feedback, but that negative feedback is employed with respect to diodes, transistors, BJTs and all. Okay, so in this aspect of logarithmic type logarithmic amplifier, we are using a diode. That means here the feedback current used in this particular negative feedback is nothing but the saturation current of the diode. The saturation current of the diode is used as a feedback current, okay, which is flowing in the diode which is connected in negative terminal. So if we observe the analysis of this particular logarithmic amplifier, okay, so this above terminal is nothing but inverting type operational amplifier, and a non-inverting terminal is grounded. Some from the basics, what we can say, okay, from the point of virtual ground, at this instant is nothing but virtual ground where we connected the negative feedback. In the aspect of virtual grounding, so the terminal voltage of non-inverting terminal V2, this is V2 and this is V1. Okay, this is grounded and V2 is 0. Okay, if V2 is equal to 0 and V1 at this particular inverting terminal node or virtual ground voltage is also 0, so the current, input current, will start flowing in this particular feedback loop. That means input current is equal to feedback current. Okay, that's what I said. The input current is equal to feedback current. Okay, so the feedback current, input current is flowing through this particular resistance, input resistance, that is I input is equal to V1 current flowing at this particular resistance, and the drop across the resistance I input is equal to V input divided by R1. Okay, and the input current is equal to the feedback current. That's why here input current is equal to feedback current. That's why it is the input that is represented as a feedback current is equal to input voltage divided by resistance R1. Okay, that means this is nothing but a current equation, okay, which is flowing across the diode, that is represented as feedback current is equal to Is into exponential of feedback voltage divided by efficiency or ideal factor into Vt. So this is nothing but a diode current. Okay, from the our prerequisite knowledge of basic electronic devices and circuits, we have taken the expression of current flowing in the diode. Okay, the current flowing in the diode is expressed with respect to saturation current into saturation current with respect to an exponential voltage of voltage drop across the diode divided by the terminal voltage or Thevenin equivalent voltage multiplied with respect to ideal factor. So this expression which we have taken from our diode current expression from our basic study of electronic devices and circuits. So if we equalize this particular input current expression on feedback current expression with respect to the diode current expression, both of them, if we equalize both of them, okay, Vi divided by Ri, that is equal to saturation current into exponential of minus V0 divided by eta into Vt. Okay, so if we equalize both of them and exponential value into LHS side and RHS side with respect to the drop, that is Vi divided by R1 into Is. Okay, in order to eliminate this particular exponential value, we are applying logarithmic value on both sides. After applying log on both sides, what is the expression? Then the exponential value will be eliminated and the expression will be minus V0 divided by ideality factor into terminal voltage or Thevenin voltage, that is equal to 1 logarithmic value of Vi input voltage divided by input resistance into saturation current Is. Okay, so from this expression, what will be the output voltage? Output voltage V0 is equal to minus eta t into Vt of Vi divided by Rs. That means what we can say means from the output expression, the output voltage is proportional to the logarithmic value of input voltage. Okay, that is the exact behavior of output voltage in logarithmic amplifier. V0 output voltage is proportional to the logarithmic value of input voltage. So here we analyzed the behavior of logarithmic value by simply doing a nodal analysis to this particular expression. Okay, so if we see the particular drawbacks of this particular logarithmic amplifier, what will be the drawbacks of this particular logarithmic value means? So the reverse saturation current, I suffixes, this particular reverse saturation current of the particular diode is changing with respect to temperature. That means saturation current Is is having a temperature effect, is having this particular temperature effect. In fact, it doubles. Okay, this saturation current will double with respect to the effect of temperature. Okay, that means the emitter saturation current varies significantly from one particular diode to other particular diode with the variation of temperature. Okay, so this is very difficult, it is very difficult condition because the temperature effect will be having a severe change with respect to output voltage. Okay, the temperature effects are the actual performance accuracy of the basic logarithmic circuit. Hence, what will happen means it has to be provide some sort of additional temperature compensation to reduce this particular temperature error. Okay, so in order to eliminate this particular temperature error, we have to do some additional compensation, and additional compensation mechanism has to be adopted. Okay, so what are the applications of this particular logarithmic type amplifier means? There are various applications which we already discussed in the integration. It will do mathematical operations like multiplication, division, okay, and log operations, log of x and ln of x, okay, and it would also do the decibel conversion easily, okay, and it will also do the RMS conversion, and it is also used in signal compression, okay, and logarithmic amplifier is also used in power extraction, okay, and it is also used in square root calculations and all. That means mostly in the application of mathematical operations we use the logarithmic amplifier, but also with respect to the logarithmic amplifier applications, we can also use this particular logarithmic amplifier in the application of instrumentation like signal compression, okay, true RMS value conversion, okay, and power extraction. Okay, so next we will go to the second classification of logarithmic amplifiers, that is anti-logarithmic amplifier. Okay, so that means this anti-logarithmic amplifier, how we to analyze means, the logarithmic amplifier can easily turned around to provide the anti-logarithmic or exponential function, that is called as anti-log amplifier. That means the basic anti-log amplifier can be obtained by using a diode or transistor which is connected to the inverting terminal of the operational amplifier. Okay, if we connect this particular inverting terminal of this particular operational amplifier, we can clearly see the behavior of output voltage. We will clearly analyze the behavior of output voltage for this particular circuit. So if we analyze further this particular anti-logarithmic type amplifier, okay, first we will see the circuit configuration. So circuit configuration here in this particular anti-logarithmic amplifier, the diode is connected to the inverting terminal of the operational amplifier, okay, and here we are connecting a negative feedback. Previously in the logarithmic amplifier, we connected a diode in the negative feedback, okay, but here we are connecting diode in the feedback, diode in the inverting terminal, and a feedback resistance with respect to the negative feedback terminal, and non-inverting terminal is grounded here. Okay, and this is an entire discussion is calculated, entire discussion is analyzed with respect to entire discussion is analyzed with respect to a non-inverting inverting type operational amplifier. Okay, so if we do a simple nodal analysis, okay, before doing the simple nodal analysis, if we see the behavior of virtual ground here, non-inverting terminal is grounded and V2 is 0 and V1 will be 0 because V2 is equal to V1, V1 is also 0. So the input current will flow through the diode and next it will flow through the resistance with respect to the output terminal. So this is the current path. This is the current path. So if we see the behavior of current flowing through the diode in this particular forward bias condition, so what will be the analysis means, if we do the nodal analysis, to this particular feedback diode, what will be the nodal analysis? Okay, input current IF is equal to V0 minus 0 divided by RF. V0 minus 0 divided by RF. That means feedback current is equal to minus V0 divided by RF. Output voltage drop across the this particular resistance IF is equal to minus V0 divided by RF. Output voltage V0 is equal to minus IF into RF. Okay, we know that from the expression of diode current. Okay, if we substitute the expression of diode current, because the input current is equal to the feedback current, and if we substitute the behavior of diode current in this particular V0, okay, what will be the expression? V0 is equal to minus Is into exponential of Vf divided by ideality factor into Veta into Rf. That means here by analyzing the behavior of KCL, by analyzing the behavior of KVL, input voltage minus feedback voltage is equal to 0. Okay, the output voltage will be V naught output voltage V naught is equal to minus of Is into exponential value of Vf divided by eta exponential factor into V2 into Rf. That means most of the conditions here at this most of the conditions the output equation it depending upon the parameters of ideality factor depends upon the Thevenin equivalent voltage and the reverse saturation current. Okay, the output voltage will be proportional to the anti-logarithmic value of input voltage. Previously in a logarithmic type amplifier, the output voltage is proportional to the output. Previously in the logarithmic amplifier condition, the output voltage is proportional to the logarithmic value of input voltage. Here the output voltage is proportional to the anti-logarithmic value of input voltage. Okay, that is the difference with logarithmic amplifiers and anti-logarithmic amplifiers. The output voltage in behavior in logarithmic amplifier is V0 is proportional to the logarithmic value of input, but here is V0 is proportional to the anti-logarithmic, that means exponential value of input voltage. Okay, here we are but what is the difference means in the logarithmic value amplifier we connected a diode resistance. Here we are connecting a resistance, feedback resistance. The diode feedback is connected there. Here we are connecting a resistance feedback. Okay, so the output voltage is having negative sign. V0 is equal to minus Is into Rf of exponential Vi divided by eta t. But the output, if we see the output of the logarithmic expression, V0 is equal to minus eta t into logarithmic of Vi divided by R1 into S. This means the output voltage, the behavior of output voltage and the behavior of anti-logarithmic voltage or anti-logarithmic amplifier and logarithmic amplifier, if we observe the output voltage is having a negative sign. Okay, this indicates there exists 180 degrees of output phase with respect to input in both logarithmic type and anti-logarithmic type. So if we observe the particular behavior of output voltage in this particular anti-logarithmic type application, okay, the output voltage is proportional to the exponential function of input voltage. That means the exponential function is nothing but the anti-log, and the circuit works as an anti-logarithmic amplifier. Okay, so in today's class we discussed about behavior of a triangular wave generator, applications of operational amplifier as an triangular wave generator. Okay, and also we analyzed the behavior of operational amplifier as operational amplifier as logarithmic amplifier. Okay, and we have analyzed the behavior of output voltage, and we have analyzed the behavior of a circuit configuration. Okay, and also we analyzed the behavior of anti-logarithmic type amplifier. We observed the circuit configuration, and we calculated the output voltage.